Okay, welcome everybody. Let's begin the forum. This is our second forum of the evening. It is for the candidates of the Village of Arlington Heights Trustees. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We know it's time out of your busy week, but we think you'll get a lot of bang for your time tonight. So we hope that you find the next 90 minutes, this is a 90-minute forum, very helpful for you as you make your plan to go vote. One of the reasons that we love to do public candidate forums for the April consolidated elections, this is fading in and out, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Is that better? Okay, we'll work through it. Is that one of the reasons we love to do public candidate forums for the April consolidated elections is because local elections are really where it's at here at home. It's amazing the impact that all of our elected boards and offices can bring to our everyday lives. And your one vote actually makes a bigger impact in the April consolidated local elections than it does in the very more excitable November presidential elections, because voter turnout for the April consolidated elections is historically very low, under 20% in suburban Cook County. We're looking to change that. We want to get that grade up in suburban Cook County for voter turnout, so that's why we're doing this. And I'm glad that you're all here tonight. So that's one reason the League of Women Voters likes to do public candidate forums. We've been in Arlington Heights now for 70 years. This is our 70th year, believe it or not, doing what we do to support Arlington Heights and the other 6 suburbs that we represent and support. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates or political parties for any office. We provide public forums like this so that you, the citizens, can become better informed about the issues facing our community and become better acquainted with the candidates running for office. Before today, all of the 8 candidates on the ballot for Village of Arlington Heights Trustees received invitations by mail and email. Candidates seek your vote for one of 4 spots for Arlington Heights Trustees. To all candidates, I want to say we appreciate your efforts tonight and before this and after this, choosing to run for office. You've given all citizens here in Arlington Heights choices, and by appearing publicly and representing yourself, your views and ideas, you give us informed choices, so thank you. There are a few preliminaries to touch on before I turn it over to our moderator. There are always a few rules, bear with me a moment. So we are recording the candidate forum tonight. A big thank you to Lorelle Communications, who's a local business and donating all of the professional audio and visual services for tonight's forums. For public access, videos of tonight's forums will be posted to our League's YouTube in 1 to 2 days following the forums. For your information, if you missed them, earlier this month, our League held candidate forums for Arlington Heights Memorial Library trustees and for candidates running for Wheeling Township trustees. Videos of those public forums are already posted on our YouTube channel. Interviews given by candidates for Wheeling Township Supervisor and other public offices in the area are also posted on our YouTube channel for 24/7 public access. All candidates signed the same ground rules to participate today and will be asked the same questions submitted by you, the audience. Please submit your written questions. Good, thoughtful questions make a good candidate forum. You can raise your hand, an usher will bring you an index card. You write down your question and you raise it back up, and an usher will come and take it from you. Simple as that. No questions will be asked from the floor. Written questions will be reviewed by League volunteers to check for redundancy, legibility, and clarity, and to make sure it's a question appropriate for village trustee and can be answered by all candidates. No personal attack questions will be permitted. Our League volunteers may consolidate a question into one question if there's a trend of multiple questions coming in that basically are asking the same question. So if you don't hear a question asked in exactly the way that you wrote it down, please look to the topical nature of the question first and know that it was taken into account. It just means you had a very popular question and we had to consolidate it to allow our limited time tonight for other questions on ideas and issues. Now, everyone does have views that are not the same as the next person. I guarantee you my views are different than some of yours, and I guarantee you some of your views are different from the person sitting next to you. Out of respect for the candidates and your fellow audience, who also took time to be here, we ask that you hold your applause until the very end of the forum. Please don't interrupt or demonstrate support or opposition for any candidate, but keep your applause until the very end as we applaud all of them for their volunteerism. Let's keep this a comfortable and safe space for everyone. Now, let's honor our nation. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll now hand the forum over to our moderator, Catherine Mardix. Catherine is a trained moderator and a member of our Chicago League of Women Voters. Catherine, thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. Look, I'm loving this crowd. This is wonderful. So as Shannon said, I am a trained moderator from the League of Women Voters of Chicago. I do not live in Arlington Heights, and so will not be voting for any of the candidates participating in this evening's forum. The format today is a candidates forum, not a debate. They will not be asking each other questions, addressing each other at all. It's a forum. Candidates are expected to represent the facts accurately, and the responses should reflect their own views and opinions. We do hope the candidates will speak to their own goals and plans and refrain from speaking about another candidate or what another candidate has or has not done. The candidates will begin in alphabetical order with a 90-second opening statement. After that, they will then alternate the order in which the questions are asked. These questions are a 1 minute, or that's how long they'll have. And after the question portion of the forum is complete, each candidate will have 1 minute for a closing statement. Okay. Members of the league will be acting as timers. Thank you, Andrea and Heidi. When a candidate sees the stop indicator, they should quickly finish their sentence. I will then immediately move on to the next candidate. To our audience, we ask that those here in attendance, first of all, turn off your electronic devices, your phones, put them on silent or power them down. Also, we'd ask for you to be respectful and restrain from making any noise. That includes applauding or booing. No, just quiet, and we'll have a big applause at the end, okay? But we'll stay, and we are trying to fit a lot of questions at these people, eight candidates, so we want to move quickly. So no applauding or any kind of show of opposition. And finally, to the candidates. I would like to say on behalf of everyone how appreciative we are that you are not only willing to serve in office, but you've also agreed to come here tonight. Okay. All right, now you'll be seeing the back of me. See y'all later. Zero. Yeah, we're good here. Okay, and you all are okay? Does anyone want to test their mic really quick? Are we all good? Everybody feel comfortable? All right. Well, let's get started then. We will start with candidate Martin Bauer, who will now have 90 seconds for an opening statement.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you to the League, and thank you, Catherine. I really feel I am the American dream. I was born and raised in Germany before coming here to go to graduate school. After that, I've pretty much spent my entire adult life, the last 27 years, in Arlington Heights. I'm married. I have 3 wonderful children, all born and raised here. I've been involved in the community in a number of different ways, from a volunteer perspective, primarily around scouting, volunteering at church, streaming, pads. I served on a board of a condo association. If you count it like they do in high school in terms of service hours, I'd be king. Professionally, I'm an actuary by background. What that means is that I understand math, finance, and risk management probably better than anybody else here on this stage. I'm also a pension actuary, and pensions in all public settings are a huge thing. I was an executive in a Fortune 500 company and have since worked in a nonprofit setting with a board that is very, very similar. I can promise you I will dig into the numbers. I'll be the analytical mind that you need, that you want, and I look forward to serving you.
Thank you, Candidate Bauer. And now, Candidate James Bertucci, could you move forward?
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum this evening. I've lived in Arlington Heights for 40 years, since 1985, raised my 2 children that were born here. They are now adults, and now I have 2 grandchildren. By trade, I'm a financial advisor, been a financial advisor for 37 years in practice, and my office is here in Arlington Heights. I've been very active in town. Many of you know me from various boards and commissions, but I've been involved in town for 35 years. I'm a current village trustee, so I am up for re-election, so I'm the only incumbent. My past, I've served on the, was elected to and served on the library board, was a past president of the library board. The Arlington Heights Chamber of Commerce, I'm a past president of that board. Arlington Heights Rotary Club, past president. And I've, just before I came on the village board, I was a Metropolis Board of Performing Arts. I was the vice president of that board. And the Arlington Heights Historical Society, I was also a vice president years ago of that board. So a lot of experience. That's what I want you to take away is if you're looking for stability, experience, and leadership, that's what I can do.
Thank you, Candidate Bertucci. Candidate Colin Gilbert, could you go next, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you guys for hosting this. Thank you everyone for being here. It's very nice to see voters who want to be informed about everything that's going on. So my name's Colin Gilbert. I'm running for Village Trustee of Arlington Heights, obviously. And if you don't know who I am, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I graduated from Hersey High School. I went to the University of Illinois after that, and then I graduated from law school at Chicago-Kent. I've been involved with this community for a very long time. I am also a past president of the Chamber of Commerce. I was a special events commissioner for the Village of Arlington Heights. I'm a former member of the Northwest Suburban Bar Association. I'm a former downtown business owner. I used to own Tuscan Market and Wine Shop. If any of you had the pleasure of going there, good to see you again. I'm also currently the president of my HOA. What I do in my free time is more volunteering. I get involved with my kids a lot. I've got a 13-year-old and 2 10-year-olds, so I'm currently raising a family here. I'm on the Arlington Heights Youth Athletic Association Board of Governors. I'm on the Board of Governors for the Hersey Youth Sports Association. I'm the Director of Travel Baseball for the Arlington Cardinals organization. I'm a real estate attorney by trade. I've been involved with that profession for 20 years now. Wow, it's getting long. I don't let that define me. I'm a father, a husband, a community member, and a very dedicated volunteer. And I look forward to serving you, and I hope I have your vote on April 1st.
Thank you, Candidate Gilbert. Next up is Candidate Michele Hunter.
Thank you. And thank you to the League and for all of you being here tonight. Standing room only, that is amazing. This is a very wonderful race, and we know that there is a lot at stake. I have lived in Arlington Heights for 15 years. I love this community. That is why I'm running. I'm running to be your voice and to reflect the will of the residents. In my 23 years as an attorney, I have a background in municipal law and local governance, and I also have a small business background. When I was 10 years old, my parents opened a store, and then in my 30s, they basically opened a coffee shop that served lunch in the back. And so I have small business in my DNA. That is a huge part of my background. That is a huge part of why I'm running. I love Arlington Heights for its small business background. I'm also a published children's book author. I am currently working with DCFS to give my books to children who are in the system. I'm a licensed foster care and adoptive parent. I really know that children need good materials to read. I am a huge supporter of that. I have donated my books to children's causes, the libraries, and the shelters. I hope to really have your vote on April 1st, and I want you to know that together we can make Arlington Heights as good as it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Hunter. And next, Candidate Anarygos Karafotias.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here. It's a really good thing. And yes, my name is Greek. Yes, it has the word heroes inside. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Full house, both rooms. Really amazing, really amazing. I'm honored to sit here. Again, my name is Anarygos Karafotias. I came here in the United States 2010, and I moved to Arlington Heights 2015. I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I was on the board of directors. I'm also in the PTA in South School. I own a business in Arlington Heights. I own a restaurant in the south side of Arlington Heights. So I care not just for my family, but also for my business. And also, I was a founding member for Touchdown Arlington. And for people who know that, we were the group who brought together between the Bears, or the stakeholders, Bears, school districts, and the village, and we tried to just communicate all together and create something good. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Karafotias. And next up is Candidate Bill Manganaro.
Thank you. My name's Bill Manganaro. I'm running for village trustee in Arlington Heights because I love this town. I want to thank the League for all the work you put into this forum, the village for giving this wonderful space for us to hold it in, and all of you for being here as engaged voters. It really is an amazing turnout. So I am one of 9 kids. I grew up in St. Louis, 6 sisters, so I had to learn to negotiate really early in life. Among us, we've got doctors, teachers, and a nun. So service is kind of in our DNA. I started off as a firefighter in EMT in Colorado. That gave me a passion for healthcare that stuck with me my whole life. I became an engineer, moved on to get advanced business degrees to develop and sell and market life-saving medical equipment around the world, landing me here in Arlington Heights 18 years ago. It's been home since we got here. And that very diverse background, along with staying in the healthcare field, leading a team of analysts, and volunteering as a mentor at a health tech startup incubator in Chicago, gives me a unique skill set: business acceleration, engineering technology. I will focus on the health, safety, and welfare of everyone in Arlington Heights. Thank you for being here. Bill Manganaro.
Thank you, Candidate Manganaro. And next up is Candidate Carina Santamaria.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and being so engaged in your local community, and thank you to the League for hosting this wonderful event. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Happy Women's History Month, especially with all of the work that the League has done this in our country for women's rights. So thank you so much. My name is Carina Santamaria, and I am running to be your next village trustee for Arlington Heights because I believe in the power of community, thoughtful leadership, and a future for everyone. As a first-generation American, a daughter of immigrants, and a working mother with the 2 cutest little kids over there, I understand the importance of opportunity, inclusion, and strong community connections. Professionally, I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a nonprofit CEO, and I've spent my entire career leading, advocating, and solving complex solutions. As a nonprofit CEO, I have grown our budget by 295% in 6 years. I have also spent my time building strong partnerships and navigating critical challenges, especially running a 24-hour organization during COVID. I know how to stretch every dollar, listen to the needs of the community, and turn challenges into solutions, and I will bring those skills to the village board. Arlington Heights is at an important crossroads, and I think, with the major developments and our evolving community priorities, I can be at that table to make sure that every voice is heard. So thank you so much, and I hope to earn your vote.
Thank you, Candidate Santamaria. And next up is Candidate Greg Zyck.
All right, well, thank you everybody for being here. This is an amazing turnout, and thanks to the league for hosting tonight too. And yes, my name is Greg Zyck, and yes, believe it or not, I am running for village trustee too. Professionally, I've been a sales and marketing executive for over 37 years. My wife owns a small tax business, so no, she is not here tonight. But I am a 30-year resident who has raised 3 kids in this incredible community who are out there now building their own lives. As they grew up, I decided I wanted to become more involved in the community. So for 4 years, I was on the Ivy Hill PTA. I served 2 years as Cub Master over at Ivy Hill and spent about a decade coaching kids in basketball and baseball. From that point, though, I wanted to become more involved with the village as a whole. So Mayor Mulder appointed me to the Housing Commission that oversees, among other things, affordable housing. But for the last 12 years, I have been serving you already on the Board of Trustees of our award-winning library, where I have served 4 years as treasurer and I served 4 years as president. It's been a great 12 years. Because of that, though, my positions and thoughts are already out there for public consumption. My ability to take issues and focus on what is best for our village or for the library has already been proven. When you come to meetings, you do have to be prepared, but sitting in these seats, you have to come in with an open mind and have to sometimes look at that gauntlet of what you're voting against your ideologies at times for the good of the entire community. I've already looked down that gauntlet for this village and proven I will do just that. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope to earn your vote.
Thank you, candidate Zyck. Okay, now we're going to be moving to audience questions, and these will all be 1 minute. And we will move on down to candidate Bertucci first, okay? Mm-hmm. Thank you. As a village trustee, what would you see as your role in the community?
Okay, thank you. Well, I already am a village trustee. So, no, all good, all good. No, our role is one of obviously listening to residents, but also listening to staff. I've often thought that the definition of what we need to do is, it breaks down into 2 areas. One is the vote, but more importantly, the real important part is the responsibility to do the research, to research whatever is on the agenda and which you're going to be voting on, to read the notes and the minutes from the commissions, to understand the staff's perspective, understand the resident perspective, and also understand, if it's the business is involved, the business perspective. So while the job is to sit up here and vote, the responsibility is to do the homework, read the packets, read the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Gilbert, would you go next, please?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Yes, absolutely, not a problem. As a village trustee, what would you see as your role in the community?
Okay, that's a great one. So as a trustee, that strikes me as a 2-part question. One of them is when we walk through those doors as a trustee, but when I leave those doors, I believe it's my job to exemplify the core values of Arlington Heights and to be that person out there representing Arlington Heights wherever I go and whatever I do. And that involves listening to people, talking with everybody, getting to know the people in Arlington Heights so that I can be a voice for them at this board when we get here. It's not the job of the trustee to shield themselves from the community and not be involved in the community. My goal will be to do what I have always done and get out there and do as much good for the community as I can, and then come back to this table, hopefully, and be able to take what I've learned and add the voices of the people and make good policy decisions for this town.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter?
Thank you. I'll echo the sentiments of my fellow candidates that our role is civic service and to listen to the voice of the people. Whatever your voice is, I will hear it and I will listen. I promise you, whatever comes before us as a trustee, I would never have a foregone conclusion or a decision beforehand. I will listen, I will hear you, and I think at the end of the day, I'll do the research. I'm an attorney background, like I said, in small business. I will do what's best for the community, but also reflect the will of the people. That is our job. And having been friends with a former trustee, he said, your pay is like 50 cents an hour. So also, we're doing this for the money, clearly. Civic service. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Hunter. And next up is candidate Karafotias.
So because of the business I own in the village, I am talking with residents every day, 6 days a week. So I want to give the feedback back to the staff that as a business owner, what business need to stay in Arlington Heights or get even bigger, and what the residents need. I'm listening to them every day. The point is listen, communicate, give feedback to the staff, question the staff what exactly you're talking about. We have to make sure we have the right information. And also do my research on my own and question again what the staff is recommending to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, candidate Manganaro.
Thank you. So 85% of the village budget is police, fire, and public works. As I said before, my sole focus will be on the health, safety, and welfare of every resident and business in this village. As an engineer, the most important thing I learned is that if I put my mind to it, I can learn anything. I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers. I'll echo what Trustee Bertucci said, that it's important to do the homework, to understand the issues, to listen to all the voices, and then make the decisions for our caring community based on the facts and the data. As an engineer, I also know it's not enough to identify risks. What we do is we solve problems, and I will work with the board and the staff to solve problems for the benefit of everyone in the village. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria.
Thank you. So I think echoing what everyone had said, listening to neighbors, doing the research, and I think our job just doesn't stop here. It's really how do we exemplify the culture of being a village of good neighbors, and that happens 24 hours a day. And so I think about a story of when I was proposing a affordable housing solution for youth aging out of foster care in the Ivy Hill neighborhood. There was a lot of community outrage about that. And there was one trustee who made it her mission to ensure that me and a particular neighbor could have discussion and mediate. And she spent hours on the phone. So much so that we were able to get into a room, have a conversation, and he now sends dinner over to our home. But I think that shows that she did not leave this desk and say, my job is over. She continued to ensure that this village worked together for the good of everybody, and that is what I believe that my role as a village trustee would be as well.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck.
Thank you. Our role and our responsibility is really to all of you and to the staff. We have to make sure, yes, that we're doing the research and we understand the issues and we understand the questions that are being brought to us. At the same time, we also have to have an open mind on what's going on, and we have to listen to each other. That's what a board does. You don't come in here with preconceived notions. You come in with ideas, but you come in also with an open and a willingness to listen to the others on the board too, but to listen to all of you, to understand what are the issues and where do you want to go with this. And then take that, do the research, make sure that we understand all the particulars and make decisions based on that. Again, and I say staff, by the way, too, because if we don't treat the staff right and are not there for the staff, they can't offer you the services and do what they need to do to provide you with what you need. So we always have to be responsible to every decision we make, too, how it affects you, but also how it affects the staff in their ability to do what you need them to do.
Thank you. Okay, next up, candidate Bauer.
Hard to follow all of that. So yes, trustees are the voice of you, the residents. What that means is listening. One thing that I would want to change is I would want to really have listening sessions, coffee with a trustee. I will be out there. I will listen to you, not just when you come to this room and have 3 minutes time. I will be a representative for you. I will speak for you. And the other thing that we need to do as Board of Trustees is we really need to set the vision for the community. A lot of the job is fairly tactical, the voting. We need to elevate that and really focus on the vision for the village and on the strategy for the village. And yes, lastly, we do need to set the tone for the staff, and it needs to be of the highest caliber.
Thank you. Okay, on to the next question, and we will start with you, candidate Gilbert.
Okay.
What are your priorities for the village?
In 60 seconds.
Short and sweet.
Thank you. My priorities for the village are to make it bigger, better, stronger in all capacities. We have some major things that are going on in this town right now. Not one of which, which I'm sure we'll probably get to, is the development of 326 acres over at Arlington Park. Huge development that's going to be going on. So in terms of what we need to do, we need to make sure that our community is strong fiscally, which we are, so we need to maintain that. We need to have an eye to the future as to what types of developments we do, how to service future generations in this town. And we also need to take care of the people that are here right now, our families. They're the backbone of this community, them coupled with the small businesses. We need to make sure that this is a developer-friendly town. We need to make sure that people can come here and want to come here, and we need to make it easy for them. We need to treat the businesses and the citizens of this town like customers and make sure that their voices are heard and make sure that this is a welcoming place for them.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter, please.
Thank you. So I think for Arlington Heights, the most important thing is to have a clean, safe, well-managed village. And the way to do that, one, is to have a very good budget. And with my small business background, I can tell you, budget is in my DNA and fiscal responsibility. Arlington Heights has a budget of $212 million. We are the largest village in Cook County. So I would look at the budget so carefully and make sure that every single taxpayer's dollars is well spent. And that means accountability, integrity, and transparency. The other thing is economic development. I think we want to be absolutely competitive and have a town and a village that is competitive with all of the other villages around us. So we want to make sure that we don't have red hoops or we don't have red tape or bureaucracy that gets in the way. We want to make sure we're competitive for economic development for residents and businesses. Those are my two things. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Karafotias.
Taxes, make sure we're fair with the residents and the businesses. We need a strong community, that's for sure. Like my friend Colin Gilbert said, we have a big development coming our way. We have to make sure we're fair to our residents and our businesses. And safety. Safety, safety, safety. Many things have happened the last 2-3 months around our schools. The police has done a great job addressing all these issues. And I did 2 ride-alongs, one in November, one in January. One in the evening, one at midnight, for 3.5 hours each. You will be surprised what's happening in our village at night. We have great police, great first responders. They need our support, and I will make sure that they have the resources and the support from this board to protect us. Without safety, our village, it's not going to be a good village. We're good neighbors. We have to keep it safe.
Thank you. Candidate Manganaro.
Thank you again. I'm probably going to say this with every answer. Safety, welfare, and health of all of our residents and businesses. And we live in a safe community. Our mayor talked this morning at the State of the Village about how crime is really at decades low here in Arlington Heights. And even that the state has made it harder to fence catalytic converters, and that theft, which was going up, is beginning to go down. So I'm going to focus, because we're going to talk about Arlington Park, on infrastructure. My background is really great for being able to work with the staff and the board to make sure we get the lead service lines replaced ahead of schedule, that we prioritize the replacement of our aging water mains. Safety issue number 2 for me, behind police and fire, is infrastructure.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria.
Sure. So my 3 things are economic development, ensuring that this is a town where developers would like to come, because all of that revenue goes right back into our property, keeping our property taxes and sale taxes down, and ensuring that our small businesses are supported as well, right? So our downtown area is the heart of Arlington Heights, and continuing to support our small businesses, I think, is very important. Second, safety in terms of infrastructure. As Bill had mentioned, we have a lot of water main pipes that we need to look at, but also 80% of what the village does is underground. You can't see it, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done with water, storm water management, and also the lead piping. And the third is strengthening community services, and I have a solution of doing that while keeping taxes down. Our police and firefighters can right now partner with nonprofits and mental health professionals, as that is one of the reasons our police calls are so up, to ensure that licensed, trained social workers can handle those calls and allow the police and fire to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck?
You know, as I've been walking around, I always ask people, you know, what's your issues with the village? And most people say they like the village, don't mess it up. But obviously, we have to keep moving forward. One of it is through business growth. And, you know, what you're seeing in downtown Arlington Heights and what they're trying to accomplish down there is really nice. But the mayor also talked about this morning, I live up on the north end, and at South Point, how we are starting to have development there too. That's great to see. We need to have that throughout the entire village. Safety is absolutely an issue. One crime is too many, and we need to continue making sure that we're working on that and providing all the services that we can. Also has to do with budget too, and your taxes. One of the things I'm proud about is on the Board of Trustees for the library, over the last 12 years, 10 of those years, we did not increase the tax levy. And it's not like we haven't given you more. We've given you the maker place. We've given you more services. But we've done that in a fiscally responsible way. And that's one of my goals going to be is that, yes, we have to keep giving you the services that you need and deserve, but we have to do it in a fiscally responsible way.
Thank you. Candidate Bauer?
Greg, you must have been talking to the same people. I literally wrote down, "Don't mess it up," as the thing that I hear most. I have 3 focus areas for my campaign: fiscally responsible, and I actually mean it, business friendly, and service oriented. And those 3 go together. The service orientation really means we need to work with residents and with businesses in a mindset that says, how can we lead with yes? How can we help you achieve what you are here in Arlington Heights to achieve? That's the kind of business friendliness that will attract businesses much more so than it does now, will not require the subsidies that we currently have to give in order to attract businesses, and that in turn will allow us to continue to be fiscally responsible and provide the services.
Thank you. And Candidate Bertucci?
Thank you. In 1 minute, very quickly, fiscal responsibility, balanced growth and development, and maintain a safe, vibrant, and welcoming community. So fiscal responsibility, I'm a financial advisor. This is what I do. I will continue to make sure that we have a strong financial setting and foundation. We've had over the last 5 or 6 years, 0% increases, except this year there was a small 2.5% increase. When inflation, and you think about what inflation was doing in all the other areas, 8, 9%. So we've been very fiscally responsible. We only represent 11% of your budget, but the schools represent about 68%. Balanced growth and development, we want our Arlington Park to be the best that it can be, but we don't want to cannibalize downtown Arlington Heights. I care about downtown Arlington Heights not only for the residents, but I'm also a resident there, and the businesses are also important. And it looks like I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to the next question, and Candidate Hunter, we'll be starting with you this time. What do you think are the strengths and the weaknesses of the village?
I think the strengths of the village are that we've had a really good budget. We have maintained a 0 levy. That's wonderful. We need to keep that up. I know that it's going up now because we had to purchase a new ambulance and there are certain expenses that we have. But the village has been run very well, and I am for that. I think that is a huge strength, and I'm willing to do the homework and make sure that every decision we make that would come across the table would be good. I think a weakness is crime, actually. I think that there is a large amount of crime in Arlington Heights. Every 6 hours and 33 minutes, there's a crime. There are crimes on the south side, which is the gateway to the town. We need to support our police. We need to support our fire department. We need to support our EMS people to be able to deal with all of the crime that is happening in Arlington Heights. And so it's catalytic converted, it's snatch and grabs, it's all of that. So I think that's a weakness in Arlington Heights, and that's something I would support the police to combat.
Thank you. Candidate Karafotias?
I really believe we live in a good village. And I know maybe some people will say some things, but we live in a really good village. I don't see any weaknesses. Some improvements? Sure. We're short-staffed with the police? Yes. We need maybe another ambulance? Yes. We need to do something about the lead pipes? Yes. But guess what? The village already has done it. That's the business plan for the village of Arlington Heights 24-25. Our staff, with the board that already is up here, they have done a great job for a long time. Everything is here. Everything's working. You can find it online from 2024, 2025, quarterly. The village is running very well. Like I said, some improvements. Who doesn't need improvements? Everybody's house, the car, everything. But the village is running pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Manganaro?
Thank you again. I think I'm going to agree a lot with RG on this one, that there are a few weaknesses. I think we have a well-run village. The board has been quite fiscally responsible, really does a good job of balancing the need to provide the services that the residents expect and need with the need to keep a lid on taxes. I think a lot of our strengths are in our community, in things like the Good Neighbors Network, where people just look for the opportunity to help other people. One thing that I think is a weakness is when people try to divide us. I base everything on facts and data. The facts and the data say that we live in a safe community. A weakness is trying to use fear to divide our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria?
So I'm going to be the social worker and call it an area of growth versus a weakness. I think that our area of growth is infrastructure. We have a lot of aging infrastructure. Some of the pieces of our infrastructure are 100 plus years old. And so when it's, we replace it, and then by the time we get through replacing everything, we're down the line of having to replace everything again. So I would say that would be something that is an area of growth. But I have to agree with Bill on the community. My campaign slogan is "It takes a village," and it's because I have met such wonderful, amazing people along the way of running for village trustee. We have amazing leaders, nonprofits, the police, the firefighters, our families, everyone that we have in this community has really brought us together, and I think that that's a wonderful strength along with our businesses.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck?
So when my wife and I first moved here 30 years ago and we stayed, it was because of what this community offers. Between the schools, the park district, the library, everything that it offers, it is an incredible community. As a village, we've been very fiscally responsible, and that's something I'm really proud about. And we're still providing services, and we're still adding on, and that is incredible. Infrastructure, I do agree with Carina, especially with all the water main breaks that we do see here. That is something that we definitely have to work on. I also think we need to work on, understand this is a big community. We're the 15th largest community in Illinois. We're not a small town. We have to learn how to bring everybody together. We do have three distinct ends of this village: the north, the central, and the southern part. And we have to make sure that we're able to bring everybody together and everybody work together to be a part of the solution.
Thank you. Candidate Bauer?
Thank you. The strengths of Arlington Heights are its people. We are truly the village of good neighbors, even though we still say city of good neighbors up there. The population is incredibly well-educated, tremendously talented, and I truly think we can achieve anything we set our minds to. For the weaknesses, or maybe I'll make myself the manager here and I say opportunity. A little pet peeve of mine, Trustee Bertucci and Candidate Hunter, you both said that we had 5 years of 0% tax levy increase. That's wrong. Look on my campaign website. It's been 1% most of those years. There was 1 year of 0%, and that was after I called out for more transparency. Trustee Bertucci knows what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Candidate Bertucci?
Yes, thank you. Strengths and weaknesses, if we look at strengths, I would agree that the people of Arlington Heights are one of our biggest strengths, and their willingness to pay for high level of service and everything that Arlington Heights has to offer. The other part is our financial stability that we enjoy, and our bond ratings that we have. As far as weaknesses, I would also go to the infrastructure. Real quickly, see if I can get this in, but basically, lifespan of these water mains is 100 years, and we're over 100 years old, so we've got that problem. The other problem is World War II metals that we were getting were not very good quality because the quality metals were going to the war effort. So now we've got things 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, whatever it's been since World War II, that are also breaking. So.
Thank you. Candidate Gilbert?
Thank you. All right, I could echo what everybody said up here, and it's the citizens are our strength. But I'll take it a step further. It's the neighborhoods. We're a town filled with awesome neighborhoods. People take so much pride in them. I love getting invited to different block parties. You know, people really stand behind their communities and help each other. I love that about this place. It's so cool. But campaigning is not easy, and one thing that I have learned through this process is how divided we are. And I think that one of the challenges that the board is going to face is how do we work with everybody to get them to understand somebody else's perspective, and for all of us to be able to take in the different perspectives and make a vote on behalf of the people. It's been very difficult. You talk to certain people who are diametrically opposed on different issues. And as a village trustee, it's my job to listen, or will be my job to listen to everybody's voice and try to come up with a solution and get everybody united and in favor of Arlington Heights as one singular unit.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to the next question. Candidate Karafotias, you're the first up. And here's the question. You knew it was coming. If the Bears do not develop Arlington Park, what would you propose be done with the property?
We can do so many things. It's a huge property. We can do from our neighborhood village Wheeling did. We can have facilities for sports, for youth, and we can have more housing. We can have hotels. We can do entertainment Rosemont. There are so many things we can do, but also we need to make sure that we are respecting our residents, we are respecting the businesses that already are here in Arlington Heights, and we don't forget for who we're working. We're working already for the residents who live here. We're working for the businesses who are open here in Arlington Heights. We have to make sure we protect that and the image of our village.
Thank you. Okay. Up next, candidate Manganaro.
Thank you. So if the Bears don't come, we have a literal greenfield opportunity in Arlington Park. One of the things that we can do is begin to develop, or I should say continue to develop, a diverse housing stock that meets all of the needs of all of our residents. I hear everything from seniors needing more friendly housing, needing to be able to find people who can give them the services to stay in their homes. We need housing at all price points for people who rent or people who own homes. This will naturally create business development opportunities because with residents come demand for services, restaurants, an entertainment district that may require hotels and so forth. I think it starts with market studies and it ends with working with all of the stakeholders, from realtors to developers to citizens, on how best to develop that property.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be one of the biggest questions that is going to have the biggest impact on Arlington Heights for generations to come, whether it's the Bears or it's not the Bears. And so what I see, if it's not the Bears on 326 acres, is a mixed-use development. To Bill's point, while I'm out canvassing, one of the biggest things I'm hearing about is affordable housing for seniors, for families, for people who want to start families. And so I think there will need to be some type of housing, even a small Del Webb style community that could go on that land. But I really also like the thought of a community needs assessment. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for Arlington Heights. And so we want to hear from everyone to see, what does the community need? What does it want? But also, what do our neighboring communities need as well? That land hits Palatine and Rolling Meadows. I think that we need to be at the table with their leaders to hear what they would like as well, so that we can work together on that.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck?
You know, first of all, if the Bears decide not to come here, the village isn't going to be doing it on ourselves, so we need a developer that's going to want to come in and do something there. It's a matter of, all these ideas are good ideas. You know, having some more green space over there could be something good for the village. Having homes that are developed over there, having an entertainment center. I'd heard earlier during the mayor's maybe a convention center that goes in there. All of these are good ideas. What we need to do, though, is that particular area can redefine what Arlington Heights is. And as a board, we have to make sure that we're listening to you, the residents, on what you feel that you want out there. But also, we have to understand who's going to develop and how they're going to develop, and what the ramifications are of that development, and work with them to make sure that we're working with whoever develops it does something that's best for the entire community.
Thank you. Candidate Bauer?
Thank you. I agree. There are lots of options. However, we aren't necessarily the ones who can dictate those options. It is the owner of the property that will have to bring those options to us. In all cases, regardless of whether it's the Bears or somebody else, our job is to listen and to then carefully analyze those options, carefully analyze the implications, and then really look out for all of you and for all of the other residents of Arlington Heights to really make sure that it's the best for our village. I talked earlier about the vision for Arlington Heights, right? A lot of things are changing. We aren't like we were 10 years ago. The way we work has changed, the way we shop has changed, the way we prefer to live has changed. We need to really think through what that vision for Arlington Heights will look like, and then hopefully try with 326 acres to get closer to that ideal state.
Thank you. Candidate Bertucci?
Thank you. So while we could come up with different ideas of what could be there if the Bears don't come to Arlington Heights, I think right now we need to spend a lot of time determining what we need if the Bears do come, because we are still talking to them. They have agreed to restart their traffic study, restart their economic impact study, and we'll certainly have to do an environmental study also over there. So from that standpoint, my focus is, quite honestly, is still giving the current owner, as Martin says, an opportunity to see what they can do. But if they don't come, we have to keep in mind that that property is regional from a standpoint of its history. It is a 100-year opportunity, but we have partners in the surrounding villages to keep that as a regional development. And certainly multi-use is probably the way it's going to go at that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Gilbert?
Thank you. As I tell people, the Bears are here. They own that land. We have got to work with them. In the event that they decide to build an NFL stadium here, that's fantastic. Okay, that takes up about roughly 100 acres out of the 326. So regardless of what happens, we still have to come up with a plan of what's best for that property one way or another. In my ideal world, if I had a magic wand, I want to make that an economic catalyst for our town and for the surrounding towns. Okay, it should be something that can help drive the local economy. We don't want it to detract from our downtown. What I would like to do is build something that will attract visitors to our town, done very well. Arlington Park is in my backyard, so if there's a traffic issue, I'm going to make sure that we try to minimize those. But I want a destination. I want people to be able to come out from different areas from the city, go to a Ravinia style something, go to parks for their baseball fields and football fields for their kids, and when they're done with those, be able to go downtown, support our businesses on the north side and the south side. It should be an economic driver for this town.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter?
Thank you. So currently, the property is zoned commercially, and I would support keeping it that way. As some of my fellow candidates have pointed out, there is a memorandum of understanding right now currently between the Bears and the village. So we would see how that would moved forward. Now, if that didn't move forward for whatever reason, I would support it continued as commercial. I would say it would be great to look to other towns and the way they've developed things. Glen, Rosemont, we can learn a lot, lessons learned, what has gone wrong, what's gone right. We can learn from them. And the other thing I would say is that however it's developed, any developer would have to submit an economic development or impact statement. And at that time, we would learn what would be best for that development. And so I would not want to compete with the downtown Arlington Heights. We need to protect that no matter what happens. I wouldn't want Arlington Heights to be competed with in that area. So I'll just say thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to the next question, and candidate Manganaro, you'll be leading off. What are your thoughts on how to provide a balance between growing the prosperity of the village and making it affordable enough for everyone to live in?
So that is a great and a really challenging question, and I'm going to come back to my focus, health, safety, and welfare of everyone in the village. I started to touch on this in the answer to the last question. I know folks who grew up here, they raised their families here, and now their kids can't afford to live here. I know seniors who have a tough time staying in their home because the people they need to give them services can't afford to live close enough. We have challenges recruiting within the village and our largest employer, Northwest Community Hospital, because people cannot live here or within a reasonable commute. So I think starts with fully implementing our inclusionary housing ordinance, and it moves through what I call workable housing, working with developers to create a housing stock that working people can afford here in Arlington Heights. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria?
I agree with that. I think addressing the housing needs is something that's very important here in Arlington Heights. Again, it's one of the top issues that I'm hearing as I'm out canvassing, and just how many houses are living intergenerational households together, or even having to house family and friends because they can't afford to live in our village. And so I do think that the Village of Arlington Heights has a duty to uphold its inclusionary housing ordinance and also expand that, because it does provide housing to seniors and other residents here in Arlington Heights. With that, I think that we have an opportunity to also partner. We can continue with other organizations and within our village. So private-public partnerships, I think, would be important to ensure that services are still at the level that our residents expect while keeping taxes down. So that is something that I would advocate for.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck?
So the question has to do with how do we balance the growth, which we need. We need to keep having economic growth. We need to keep growing as far as infrastructure. Now, I spent 6 years on the Housing Commission where they oversaw the affordable housing plan. And I'm really happy to see what's happened in the 12 years since I've been on that board, where we now do have this, where they have to have 7.5% of multifamily homes have to have affordable housing. I'm glad to see the progress we've made. Now we have to kind of take this on another step. And that's looking at a holistic approach. How do we bring the entire village together? I think most of us know the cost for living here in the central part of Arlington Heights is more expensive than it is on both ends of it. So how do we bring the entire community together through transportation, through events, through understanding what everybody wants and needs to be able to do that? Because there are more affordable homes when we go to the two ends of it, but now we have to figure out how to bring everybody together in that response.
Thank you. Candidate Bauer?
Thank you. You ask about a balance. I don't really think that it is a either or. I think we can do both. And I think that market forces and relying on the market can really help us in both things, certainly with regards to developing business. But I also trust the market to provide for a range of affordable housing. And what I mean by that is we shouldn't just think that we need to impose solutions onto Arlington Heights. We should let private individuals find solutions. There is some affordable housing out there. I checked earlier today. Rentals can be had for as little as $1,200. I used to own 3 rental units. I was that private landlord that made sure that affordable housing is available. Let's not get in the way of that. Let's support that, and we'll be good.
Thank you. Candidate Bertucci?
Thank you. We do have a diverse housing stock in Arlington Heights. Can we do more on the affordable side? But we're doing a great job already. If you don't already know, the state of Illinois, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, requires 10%, and if you're under 10%, they make you fill out forms and present a plan. We're at 20%, so we have a 20%. Affordable housing when in fact the state doesn't really start coming to so-called bother you if you're under 10%. But we could do better, sure. I was a product of Hasbrook, the Hasbrook neighborhood. My first house was a 3-bedroom on a slab, and those houses still exist. But again, we do have to do better. We have ordinances now in place, as been mentioned. 7.5% of all multi-unit developments have to have affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Gilbert?
Thank you. Let me be clear. I want to drive as much growth and prosperity in this town as we possibly can. Okay, I want to wring the towel and get as much growth and prosperity as we possibly can. So when we talk about balancing that with the affordability of living here, I agree that I'm not sure that we have to let one go down in order for the other to go up, okay? We have got to drive the prosperity of our town as much as we possibly can. I don't know why we wouldn't. When it comes to the inclusionary housing aspect of this, which I think is what we're getting at with affordable, I think what we have in place is working. I think that it can also be looked at, as it should be, as most of the ordinances in town. They need to be working. As the town shifts, so should some of the rules that govern it. And it's okay to say we need to revisit something. It doesn't have to be a hard line in the sand to say this is it or nothing. We've got to be flexible. But the biggest driver has got to be growth and prosperity.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter?
Thank you. I would say affordable housing is a term that some people just don't like. I would almost rephrase it as attainable housing. We do know that we want nurses and firemen and police officers and teachers to be able to live in Arlington Heights. We know that. That's on one side. So to address that, I think economic development, we need projects that are able to move forward. We don't want a village that's overly prescriptive that stops progress. And so I think that's one aspect of it. There's certain projects that have kind of been slow rolled, like the 425 project right next to Runners High. That could be some affordable housing. We've got a project there that could actually provide a lot of that. The other thing I think is that there are other creative solutions, density bonuses, there's tax incentives, there's village-owned property that we could work with. I'm open to creative situations and solutions to this problem. I also think that I'm not for huge government solutions. I think that at the end, though, Arlington Heights can get the job done.
Thank you. Candidate Karafotias?
That's a tough one. I'm the last one. We can do both. The village has been doing great in that subject. I think a month and a half ago, we had another building that passed, and I think we're going to start construction soon. The biggest concern about that will be because of my business, where I am in the restaurant, I have it's a breakfast and lunch. I have many seniors coming every day. Complaints, too expensive the taxes. We need to make sure that the seniors who live in Arlington Heights, they stay in Arlington Heights. We need to make sure we have them first. We need to protect the people who lived here for so many years, and they make Arlington Heights great. We have to make sure that our seniors who live in Arlington Heights, they stay here. It's a big complaint, and I hear it every day. Not every day, but every 2-3 times when the conversation comes, like, oh, we have to move in a smaller place in Palatine or Lake Grove. Like, why? Because it's expensive. We need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to another question. Now, we're starting to run out of time, and these two questions are related. So I'm going to read them together, and you can answer them both, if you would, okay? And we're starting with you, candidate Santa Maria. Thank you. What are your thoughts regarding a code of ethics for elected officials, appointees, and parties doing business with the village? And if you could touch on, how will you handle conflicts of interest when voting on various projects? So a general one and a specific one to you.
Sure, thank you so much. I do think strong ethics and transparency are a foundation of good governance. I think that is an expectation that we should have as elected officials. And so our residents deserve the right to know that their elected officials are acting with integrity, with transparency, accountability, and in the best interest of their community. So I would be very much in favor of that. When it comes to a conflict of interest, I think identifying those conflicts of interest, being open and honest and transparent about them, and recusing yourself when necessary, I think is something that I would do. So I'll speak for myself. I'm a nonprofit here in town. There are times where we have come to the village board for community-based grant funding. And if that were to happen, I would recuse myself from the conversation. I would not even represent Shelter Inc. at that time. And so that the process is transparent and has integrity.
Thank you. Candidate Zyck?
So I think the question is wrapped around, and you use the word transparency, making sure that we have confidence in our elected officials. The village does, the Board of Trustees does have a code of ethics. Over at the library, we have a code of ethics also. And I think we've been very fortunate on both of those that we've had some very ethical, good people on there. But I understand that everybody feels that we need to have more transparency, and that's fine. You should continue asking for that. And as a board, you always have to look at that. You always have to make sure that you think you're doing the right thing. You always have to take a step back and make sure that you are doing the right thing. And that's something that the board like this can never stop thinking about and never stop looking at. As far as conflict of interest, they come up at times, I'm sure, depending on the professional, the profession of a certain individual. And I think this board has been good at doing that and recusing itself. We just have to make sure, though, that we keep the pressure on as citizens, that we keep the pressure on to make sure that that happens the right way.
Thank you. And candidate Bauer?
So a code of ethics sounds like a great idea. I'm just not sure that it's needed. As a board, we have to tackle a lot of really big things. We talked about it. And so we need to learn to say no to certain initiatives that aren't that important. And a code of ethics, to me, is a solution in search of a problem. We haven't had a problem in Arlington Heights with unethical behavior on the part of elected officials. And as a result, I wouldn't want the very precious limited time that this board is going to have to be spent on something that really isn't necessary. As far as a conflict of interest is concerned, yes, if you have a conflict of interest, you recuse yourself. Simple as that.
Thank you. Candidate Bertucci?
Thank you. I would be in favor if that's the will of the residents and the board, but I do also think that there's some duplicate there. You take an oath, there are already laws in place that protect that, but it wouldn't scare me. I would be fine with it. I'd sign it in a heartbeat. I'm already a fiduciary when it comes to working with my clients and how they invest their money. So the licenses that I hold put me at the fiduciary level. And so I have no problem in that, although I do think it might be duplicate. As far as conflicts of interest, I definitely would everybody feel comfortable that the current board and any future board of these people up here would recuse themselves. I have no reason to believe that anybody on here would do anything that would put them in a situation where they would have a conflict, so.
Candidate Gilbert?
Yeah, can you please repeat it again? Sorry, it was a while ago.
Yeah, it's two-part. Oops. Yeah, I can. What are your thoughts regarding a code of ethics for elected officials, appointees, and parties doing business with the village? And personally, how will you handle conflicts of interest when voting on various projects?
Okay, thank you. Well, the easy part is the conflicts. You recuse yourself. I mean, I deal with that in my profession as a lawyer every day. We have to conflict check all the time. In terms of a code of ethics for the board, it's multiple parts there. For the board, again, I'm willing to discuss it, all right? At a previous board meeting, this was brought up, and Mayor Hayes had made the point that, much like Mr. Bauer had made, that the minute that we decide to get on this ballot, we say we are going to adhere to a code of ethics, okay? We take this job seriously. We take our profession seriously. The transparency needs to be there, all the things that come with it. And I truly believe that. I believe in local government. I do, at my core. And if somebody wanted to talk about doing the code of ethics, okay, I'm willing to listen, but let's have a discussion. As for the vendors and the people that we deal with, I don't necessarily know that we have the ability to impose that upon them. They're probably governed by their own professions. But again, something I'm willing to talk about. If every vendor that comes to Arlington, we want to try to make them sign a code of ethics, if that's what we think is best for the village, then let's talk about it.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter?
Thank you. So like Colin, I'm an attorney and I've taken an oath as an attorney, so I do understand ethics and I take it very seriously. I do believe that with the code of ethics that already exists, to add on to it is maybe just not necessary. I believe that all of these people that you're looking at will adhere and honor the code. I also believe that if you have a conflict of interest, as everyone has said, you just recuse yourself. To require vendors and other people to adhere to some sort of code, I don't even know that we would be able to do something like that. I guess I just think at the end of the day, we are all people who live by that existing code, and to add to it seems to me just unnecessary. We've got a good village, we've got a well-run organization, so to add to it seems to me like unnecessary.
Thank you. Candidate Karafotias?
I would agree with Colin, and I mean, I'm open to discuss it. Sure, let's see. If we need it, if we open that door, it's going to be a big conversation. And conflict of interest. I mean, I don't know if you know, we have a great lawyer in the village, Hart Passman. Any questions any of the board members has should ask Hart Passman. Is a conflict? Yes. I'm going to recuse myself. It's simple. I have seen it. I have been coming to these meetings for 2.5 years, I think, and I'm sitting usually right there, second and third chair in the front row. Yes. So I have seen maybe 4 times in the last 2.5 years somebody recuse himself. I mean, that's why we have the board here, and we all know each other. If somebody needs to recuse himself, they should. It's simple. We don't need to overthink about it. The village is fine. All these years, we're doing okay. No big scandal or anything. We're doing fine.
Thank you. Candidate Manganaro?
Thank you. So I work for Healthcare Service Corporation. We are perennially rated one of the most ethical companies in the world. We have a very high standard of ethics, training in ethics, and we all know that we serve on pain of our jobs for our ethical behavior. And we've dismissed some very high performers for failing to act ethically. Our village for our employees has ethical regulations. I see no reason the board should be afraid of having similar regulations for ourselves. I think if a board member has conflicts, yes, they should recuse themselves. I think if they have entanglements in their business or whatever else that are incompatible with board service, they should not be seated. I believe that ethics connects us and that we all have to behave ethically in everything we do. And the penalties, we live in Illinois. We know where corruption can go. Thank you.
Okay. So we're moving on to the next question, and we'll start with you, candidate Zyck. What can the village do to reduce negative environmental impacts?
You've got to stay on top of it. There has to be an environmental study done when any project comes up. That's kind of like the long and the short of it. The environment is very important to us. It affects our drinking water, it affects all our safety, it affects everything around here. So we have to make sure that as a board, that when we're looking at the policies and the rules of the village, that we're making sure that we're always paying attention to what these projects do, because they will, all of them will, what's going to go on over at Arlington Park will affect the environment over there, the salt watershed, and we have to make sure that we know what's going on there. So it's really keeping our vigilance. We have to make sure that we're always thinking about it. It has to be one of the constants that we're always have in our mind as we're looking at any project.
Thank you. Candidate Bauer.
The environment is important, climate is important, sustainability is important. And yes, I said it a couple of times before, we need to think about what's in the future, what is our vision. There are a variety of things that we can talk about. One that I will pick out is I would love for Arlington Heights to become less dependent on cars and more focus on other modes of transportation, in particular bikes. I was in Europe just a few weeks ago. Everybody now owns e-bikes. I believe that trend will come to the US as well. I believe we ought to be prepared for that. I believe we ought to adapt our infrastructure to that. That can be cheaper, it can be more affordable, and it can be environmentally better. And by the way, it's good for you.
Thank you. Candidate Bertucci?
Thank you. Again, already sitting on the board, we're there. We are looking at environmental all the time. Developments have to go through most of the developments have to go through environmental studies or samples or whatever. In reference to the future in Arlington Park, part of what will definitely have to be looked at is the Salt Creek situation. And Salt Creek is still basically there, so to speak, but a lot of it is underground. At some point in time, it's possible that the Salt Creek might have to be brought back above ground, depending on how that property is developed. But sure, we're already testing out charging stations in various areas of the parking garage. So we do have a focus on that. That is one of our strategic priorities, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you. Candidate Gilbert?
Thank you. I think the village board and Trustee Bertucci have been doing a great job with what they have as far as the environmental things in town go. I guess the politician's answer is I'm for the environment, right? But it goes beyond that. I won't sit here and pretend to have all the environmental answers. I won't. But I know that Village Hall has a great staff of people that will look into this. And when developers come here to build projects, we'll be able to dive deeper into those issues and find out how we can reduce environmental impact step by step. I don't think you paint with a broad brush with this, okay? These things are subtle nuances. And I think you have to look at each project and each thing individually and explore the options that are available. I truly do. And again, it's not necessarily my job or won't be my job to come up with every single solution. But that's why we have such a dedicated, awesome village staff, is because as Trustee Bertucci said, when these are priorities for the board, that's what the staff does. They help us come up with the best possible solutions to implement those priorities. So that's what we will do. We will continue to lean on the board for the staff for their expertise.
Thank you. Candidate Hunter?
Thank you, and I agree with what Colin said. This is already a part of our 2024-25 budget in Arlington Heights, and it is very important to protect open spaces and the Salt Creek. I mean, we have to protect that, absolutely. I also think we could boost maybe our recycling and compost options. I think there are a lot of ideas. We work with the village staff to be able to come up with creative solutions for protecting the environment. Everyone is obviously pro the environment, so that's a non-issue. But I do believe that there's issues with restaurants and recycling, and so maybe we help them build in some recycling. Groot is already basically going to be giving us giving the town a proposal when it comes to composting and different things like that. There's a lot of creative solutions for environmental problems, and I would absolutely be open to all of those. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Karafotias.
I'm going to repeat myself again. The village already has it. They're working on it. It's right here. You can find it online. You have an idea, come every second Monday, you have 3 minutes in front of the board and say something. Also, the village has a lot of groups. I believe the name is Sierra Group that are working for the environment. Have them here, get them involved. Get involved all the groups that they're really working with the environment, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna find a solution. I like the bike comment. I grew up in Europe. I have bikes. I know, it's good for you. And also, we need to make sure that the staff, we need to know that the staff are already working on that. They are working really hard. And it's very, very impressive that how good the village has been done with the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Manganaro.
Thank you. Archie, I'm really glad that you mentioned the Sierra Club. Everyone sitting up here sought their endorsement.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. I'm one of 2 that earned it. I have been engaged with the environmental community since volunteering in the Denver Mountain Parks as a young man, through my work in New Jersey cleaning up trails, through knowing and working with the activists and the volunteers in our environmental community. I didn't find out about the Salt Creek watershed from the Sierra Club questionnaire. I paddled it in my kayak. I know how valuable it is. I know who the stakeholders are. I know how to work with them. And I will pledge to keep sustainability as no lower than the number 3 priority that it currently is in the village's strategic plan.
Thank you. Candidate Santa Maria.
Thank you. So as Bill had mentioned, all of us have interviewed for the Sierra Club endorsement, and only 2 of us got it. I am the second person. So being environmentally friendly is something that is important to me, as it is to the village, because it's been outlined in the strategic priorities. And so I will continue advocating for a sustainable, environmentally friendly, resilient community. And that includes promoting green spaces and infrastructure, enhancing urban tree canopies, but also implementing sustainable stormwater management and looking at transportation options that are eco-friendly. During my interview, I did, as I sat down with the Sierra Club, I had asked, we have an environmental commission. How often do you meet with them? And they had shared that they actually don't really have a seat at the table, and that is something that I would change too. They are experts in that field, and so I would appreciate for their voices to be heard. Again, back to my campaign slogan, it takes a village. Everyone has a diverse voice and perspective, and we all need to be at that table in order to share those perspectives. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, my heart's breaking here. Look at, these were great questions, and I do, no, I think no, we're good, right? Yeah.
No, I went first.
Yeah, you went first. Oh, phew.
Well, so many, that's why.
Hard to keep track.
No, I've done that before, so I wasn't surprised when you mentioned it. No, we have a lot of great questions here, and I apologize if I didn't read your question, but we're getting really close, and we still have closing statements. But I'm going to call an audible here, and turn 2 into yes or no. Okay? And if you want to talk more about it, if you could sneak a little in your closing statement, because, I'll get the first one. And just raise your hand when I say yes or no, okay? Or a third alternative. Would you support participatory budgeting where the community decides how to allocate a portion of a public budget? How many of you are in favor of participatory budgeting? Those who are a yes can raise their hand now.
What would be, what do you can?
I think that bears a little explanation.
Yeah, what's participatory budget?
Participatory budgeting is where you would go and sit with the community and work with them as well. They would participate in creating a budget. They would have, maybe not the whole, done different ways, but it might be a little here that we're gonna, this money, we're going to work with the community and they'll just get to decide what it's for. It's a kind of way of making the community feel like they're more involved in the budget process. Did I get that right?
Well, my suggestion is maybe we follow up with a written questionnaire post-forum on that one.
That's way easier. I mean,
You know what?
we already have the commissions for that, and all the residents that are welcome to come and talk to the commissions.
Got that
So,
process.
Yeah,
plus every second Monday, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
We-
okay.
Everybody's involved.
All right, I think we should move on to, Okay. I had a little bear, called an audible. I had a little Bears thing going there for you guys. Okay, we're going to go in reverse order for closing statements, which means we'll start with you, candidate Greg Zyck.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here tonight and making it for if you've been here for all of them for 3 hours. You've got a big decision coming. There's going to be a minimum of 3 new trustees that are going to be coming onto this board, and this board is going to change its appearance here. So you've got a big decision on what to make and how you want this to go. I thank you for your consideration. I've enjoyed the last 12 years of serving you on the Board of Trustees for the library. I feel like I've done a good job. I know that sounds really egoist there, but one thing I'm proud of is that all 6 of the other trustees that I'm sitting on that board with have all publicly endorsed me. It's because I know how to work in this environment. I know how to work with a team in order to provide the right answers for the village, or in this case, for the library. So again, thank you all very much. I really appreciate you all coming out tonight. I appreciate listening to the answers of our fellow candidates. If I'm lucky enough to win this, I'm going to be working with 3 of them, and I need to understand how they tick and what their thoughts are. So this has also been good for me too. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Carina Santamaria.
Thank you so much for being here tonight and for being so engaged in your community and local elections. I am running for village trustee because I believe in real leadership, real solutions, and a real commitment to our community. My experience hasn't been just about ideas, but it's been about action. As the CEO of a 24-hour operating child welfare agency, I have dedicated my career to solving complex challenges, stretching every dollar, and building partnerships that create lasting impact. And I've navigated government regulations, I've built public-private partnerships, and ensured responsible use of our community resources. That work mirrors what an effective trustee would do. Strategic problem solving, fiscal responsibility, and a commitment to doing what's right for the people. I am committed to you as my village, and I hope that I have earned your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Bill Manganaro.
Thank you. So I want to thank everyone again for being here. Again, what a great crowd, and you've stuck with us. And the league, as always, has done a wonderful job executing this forum. And again, Mayor Hayes is still here. Thank you and the entire village for giving us the space. As an EMT, I look at the world from a health, safety, and welfare perspective. I don't have anything to gain from being your trustee except serving the health, safety, and welfare of every individual and business in Arlington Heights. I have no entanglements that could cause me to make profit from anything I do here. I believe in transparency, ethics, and doing the right thing for everyone in Arlington Heights. I hope to earn your vote on or before April 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Anarygos Karafotias.
Don't forget, early voting starts Monday. Why I want your vote? I'm a small business owner here. I am an immigrant, and I'm listening to many, many people every day. I'm here to give the feedback to the fellow trustees and the staff how to keep this village the way it is and maybe make some small improvements. We need to make sure that we keep the village. Somebody said, don't screw up the village. We need to keep the village the same way. Some improvements, yes. That's why we're here. March 17th, early voting. Good luck.
Thank you. Candidate Michele Hunter.
Thank you. Thank you to the league again and to all of you for being here. Again, standing room only, and there's still people standing. It's wonderful. I'm running, and I know it sounds corny, because I care. As I said, I've been a resident for 15 years. I have a legal background with municipal law and local governance. I'm also a small business owner and background. That's very important to me to protect in Arlington Heights. I promise you, if you elect me, I will fight for you, and I will be fully transparent, fully accountable, and fully filled with integrity for the role. I promise you that. I will never have an opinion on anything. I will be your voice. I will promise to do your will and reflect whatever that is. So thank you so much, and I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Colin Gilbert.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here and for hosting this forum. It's been great. Do your research, please, when you vote. I know you're here. I know you're informed constituents. After tonight, there's a lot of material out there about all of us. We've answered what seems like 1 million questions. This might be our 3rd forum at this point in time. So the information is out there. Look for what we bring to the table. Look for people who can hit the ground running when they get in this seat. Look for people that have been involved with Arlington Heights. Look for the people that care. And I'm going to use my last 30 seconds here to echo the sentiments that I did when we did our forum downtown. Please be kind to all the candidates. We deserve that. Everyone up here is a great person. It's no fun to get trolled online. It's no fun to get yelled at. We're trying to volunteer and do the best we can in this town and bring our talents to this board. Please bring some civility back to local government. We have control over that, and it's important. And I want to thank the candidates that are here. It's been a pleasure running with you as we wind down. Thank you all. I hope to get your vote on April 1st.
Thank you. And candidate James Bertucci.
Thank you. Once again, long-serving community member. Right now, as stated earlier, after this election, we will have 3 new sitting trustees. 2 years ago, we had 2 new trustees come to the board. So after this election, we'll have 5 trustees who will be 2 years or less on the board. 2 years from now, one of our longest-running trustees has already said publicly that that she probably will not run. So we're going to have a lot of new trustees on the board. I think one of the roles that I can bring is not only my experience, but my leadership and mentoring skills. Very quickly, the Arlington Heights Chamber of Commerce last year honored me for a lifetime achievement in both leadership and mentoring small businesses and the community at large. So thank you.
Thank you. And Martin Bauer.
I can't believe it. We've almost reached the end. Thank you all. Thank you to the league. Thank you all for sticking it out up until now here. All 8 members here of the community are involved community members. All of us are talented. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. I think you need to also look at what differences we bring to the table. A well-functioning board has to have a set of differing, compatible skills and perspectives. I'm an actuary. I'm okay with being called a numbers cruncher. We talked a lot about health, welfare, and safety. I will keep you financially safe. That is my pledge to you, and that is something that is absolutely critical on this board. I hope I have convinced you of that. I hope you vote for me. Thank you all.
Well, join me in thanking our candidates for being here tonight. And let me thank again Heidi and Andrea and Shannon and the hidden question sorters. I could read every card, so it was quite good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Best of luck to all of you.
One last thank you.
Oh, yeah, we got more here.
There are two people in this room that actually have worked harder tonight than all of the candidates, and that says a lot because the candidates have worked very hard. Stacy Shine Stapleton, our ASL interpreter. Give it up for them, please. They've been working hard. All right.